The media, of course, couldn't disagree with my point of view more. They had nothing but praise for this speech. Watch.
President Obama, now will you all be quiet and let me talk about the president's speech, which was so good, and finally spoke to
for 5
the problems
minutes for you
that
to do
plague
this.
this country, and finally, I think, cut through a lot of things that you've been waiting to hear from him.
President Obama, if you missed it earlier today, he cleared the beach. He really went after it. You missed a dandy. His speech in Kansas was a wholesale rejection, and I mean a wholesale rejection of failed GOP policies leading to the Great Recession and creating the greatest income inequality America has seen in decades.
Whoa! Whoa, that GE-owned property is fantastic, isn't it? I am proud to say that I know this audience was probably the only one in America that wasn't fooled, because you happen to know who this guy actually is. Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah. How do you know? Glenn Beck, he's calling the president a communist or a Nazi or something. Look what he's writing. Did you read the book? No, I know who you are. Really? Yeah, who am I? If you read the book, laid out about the presidents and progressive light, donkey and elephant. Cancer of progressivism, and it is spreading. And all this has great stuff about this guy who's a nightmare. I used to like this guy because you read all the happy stuff that he writes, and you're like, yeah, I'm with him. No. Read all of his work. Tell Newt Gingrich, no, Newt knows. Newt Gingrich knows exactly who this guy is. You read, just in this book, written, 2 years ago, exactly what this guy is responsible for in his administration, which Newt Gingrich says he's for, he likes. Now, yesterday's speech that the president gave was full of A, fairy tales about history. B, class warfare. C, otherwise known as 3, income equality. Now, income equality. I'm thinking, what could income equality, what could that possibly be? I can't think of any other word that income equality might be. Anyway, 4, fundamental transformation of America. That's what that's all about there. Okay, let me share something with you. I was given a very good piece of advice when I first went to Fox. The president was just in, and I said, the guy's lying. And I was called into a corporate office, and they said, Glenn, don't call the president a liar. But he is. You could have misread that. You don't know if the president is lying. And besides, you will not make any point, or nobody will listen to you if you call the president a liar. Nobody wants to think of the president as a liar. He misspoke, he misunderstood, he's misguided, but he's not a liar. Okay, all right. I did that one for a while. I listened to that good advice. And now I'm listening to the advice, that was given to Moses, because he was given some very good advice, too, on that mountain thing. Do not tell a lie. Remember that? Yeah.
Sure, they say there will be winners and losers, but if the winners do really well, then jobs and prosperity will eventually trickle down to everybody else. And they argue, even if prosperity doesn't trickle down, well, that's the price of liberty.
That's the price of liberty. Let me stop here for a second. That's just the price of liberty. Notice what's absent from the president's description of the generic evil capitalist. That is good. A good capitalist. There's an evil capitalist. Are there any good capitalists? There's idiot capitalists. Any smart ones? Any charitable ones? The overwhelming rule in American history is that the people are good. America is great because America is good. Capitalists and Marxists alike. Some of them are good. Name the socialist or communist country that is better in its heart than America. Tell me the communist country that has done more. You can't. Why? Why? Because Marxists go dead inside. Capitalists want to help people, and they have. Not all of them, Most hardworking Americans help. But Obama doesn't think so. Obama sees people like, if you make $1 more than he deems is okay, God forbid you're a doctor, you must be cutting off people's feet and ripping tonsils out for cash. He knows that was what I like to call a lie.
Now, it's a simple theory. And we have to admit, it's one that speaks to our rugged individualism and our healthy skepticism of too much government. That's in America's DNA.
Not in his.
And that theory fits well on a bumper sticker.
Oh, okay. Stop.
But here's the problem. It doesn't work. It has never worked.
Lemmings.
It didn't work when it was tried in the decade before the Great Depression.
What? Capitalism
It's not
didn't.
what led to the incredible post-war booms of the 50s and 60s.
Capitalism didn't.
And it didn't work when we tried it during the last decade.
Okay, go ahead, wait, I can't take it. Let's try this. The 1920s didn't work. The 1950s and 60s fail. The 1980s fail, right? Isn't that what he said? All this. The 1930s was progressives. That's when it worked. The 1930s and 40s. That was working. 1970s. Does anybody remember that? That was working. These are the high points of the last decade. Good heavens, man. Let's just start with the 1920s, can we? Can we just start with the 1920s? America changed. A Great Depression in the early 1920s, caused by Woodrow Wilson's policies, were undone by Harding and then Coolidge. Taxes were cut. The size of the government was reduced dramatically. So what happened? Well, you had auto production. Auto production went up, went through the roof. You want to know how much? 191% for the decade. Driving created jobs. Demand was so high that people had to do what? Make rubber tires. Jobs were needed to create metal, lumber, steel, cotton, leather, paint, running boards, glass, gasoline, everything. Companies had to be created to meet the demand of just one American product. Roads had to be built. State highway construction increased tenfold from 1918 to 1930. There was also massive innovation. In 1920, there were only 5,800 people who had ever flown on an airplane. By 1930, it was 70 times that amount. How about radio? Radio mainstreamed brought another innovation called advertising. Conveniences that had been around forever but never commercialized suddenly took off, like the movies. Edison gave us the movies. Anybody tell me when? The 1800s. 1880 is when the moving picture started. But when did movies really take off? The 1920s with Cecil B. DeMille. The telephone, invented in 1876 with Alexander Graham Bell, made the first two-way call. Did anybody have them? No. When did America start calling each other? In the 1920s. The average person's salary went up 37% from 1921 to 1929. That was in an 8-year period. Anybody want a 40% raise in the next 8 years? Anybody for that? Anybody take a 40% raise? No, that didn't work. That didn't work. He's rewriting history. No, I'm sorry, he is lying to you. All of that prosperity being spread around without punishing the rich. Everyone benefited from the bottom up. Evidence? Let me give you one more piece. Somebody who was living in the United States in 1917, he wrote, he was so impressed with America. Quote, we rented a little apartment in a workers' district. That apartment at $18 a month was equipped with all sorts of conveniences that we Europeans were quite unused to. electric lights, gas cooking range, bath, telephone, automatic service elevator, and even a chute for the garbage. Wow, you know who said that? Who wrote that about America? Leon Trotsky, Mr. Marxism himself. How's that one?
GBTV. The truth lives here.